Welcome back to Happy Seniors Life, the place where East meets West to help you age with strength, clarity, and joy. I'm Dr. Thomas. I've been working with older adults for over 30 years here in the United States. And today, I want to talk about something so ordinary, so familiar. Most people never question it. It's what we toast in the morning, what we spread with butter and jam, what we reach for when we want comfort bread. But here's the thing most folks don't realize after 60, that harmless slice of bread might be doing more damage than you think. It could be draining your energy, clouding your memory, even inflaming your joints. And the most surprising part, it's not because bread is bad, it's because the kind of bread we eat today, the commercial, processed version, is not the bread our grandparents grew up with. So today, we'll uncover the truth. And I'm honored to be joined by someone who knows more about living long and living well than anyone I've ever met. Japan's oldest practicing physician, a man who walked into his office daily even after turning 100. He's a pioneer of healthy aging, and he's here with us again, Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara. Dr. Hinohara, thank you for joining us once more. And to our viewers at home, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt foggy or tired a few hours after breakfast? If yes, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Let's see how many of us share the same morning experience. And if this topic touches your life, even just a little, please subscribe and tap the bell so we can continue this journey toward strength, peace, and longevity together. Topics 1. White bread, the silent morning saboteur. Let's start with the most common loaf in American kitchens, white sandwich bread. It looks gentle. It feels soft. And for many older adults, it feels like the safest choice. But for the body after 60, that soft slice becomes a silent saboteur. Dr. Hinohara? Yes? Thomas, I often say white bread is like a smiling thief. It comforts you at first, then slowly robs you of your strength. What many people don't realize is that white bread is made from highly refined wheat flour. The natural fiber, the minerals, the complex starches all removed. Then it's enriched with synthetic vitamins that your aging gut can't even absorb properly. So when a senior eats white bread in the morning, the body reacts as if you've eaten pure sugar. The result? A rapid spike in blood glucose, followed by a crash. Then comes fatigue, brain fog, even joint discomfort. Dr. Thomas. That explains so many stories I've heard. There was a patient, we'll call him Mr. Leroy, 72 years old, no diabetes, still walked every morning, but every afternoon he felt drained. His memory slipped. His knees ached. Turns out, every morning began with 2 slices of toast and jam. When we swapped it for a slice of sourdough and an egg within 1 week, his energy stabilized. Within 2 weeks, his joint pain was nearly gone. Dr. Hinohara, that's the power of choosing the right bread, and science backs it up. A 2017 study published in the Journal of Nutrition and Aging followed over 2,000 older adults in the U.S. for 5 years. Those who ate refined white bread daily showed significantly faster cognitive decline, higher inflammation, and a greater risk of developing insulin resistance, the early road to type 2 diabetes. Dr. Thomas, so here's what I tell my patients. If you wouldn't spoon sugar into your morning coffee, don't spoon it into your toast either. White bread isn't gentle. It's just sneaky. Dr. Hinohara. In Japanese we say, what feels soft today may make your legs weak tomorrow. That slice of bread may be part of your morning habit, but it doesn't have to be part of your future. Dr. Thomas, and to those watching, take a moment to look at your breakfast. Is white bread still on your plate? Let us know in the comments. Type yes if you eat it regularly. Type no if you've already made the switch, because awareness is the first step to living longer and living stronger. Topics. 2. Multigrain bread, a healthy illusion. Now let's talk about something a little more complicated. After cutting out white bread, many of my patients switch to something they think is better. You've seen it: brown crust, seeds on top, labels that say multigrain, whole, or natural. It looks healthy. But the truth: multigrain bread is often just white bread wearing a disguise. Dr. Hinohara, that's right. Multigrain is one of the most deceptive foods on the shelf. Just because a bread has visible grains or a brown color doesn't mean it's whole grain. Many commercial brands sprinkle a few grains on top, but the main ingredient is still refined: wheat flour. So, once again, your body digests it like sugar. Dr. Thomas, I had a patient, Miss Marlene, 68 years old. She made the switch to multigrain. She thought she was doing everything right, but every time she checked her morning blood sugar, it was still creeping up. Her ankles were swollen by noon. Her thoughts were cloudy by early afternoon. The mistake. The first ingredient in her bread was still enriched wheat flour, not whole grain. Dr. Hinohara, it happens all the time. Food companies use words like made with whole wheat or multi-seed blend to make the product sound healthy. But unless the label says 100% whole grain as the first ingredient, you are being misled. Some brands even use molasses or caramel coloring to darken the bread, so it looks hearty when in fact it behaves like white bread in your body. Dr. Thomas, so the color of the bread doesn't mean much. That darker crust, it could be from added sugar, not actual grain quality. This kind of bread still causes rapid blood sugar spikes, still contributes to insulin resistance, still feeds inflammation in the joints and the brain. Dr. Hinohara, that's why I always tell my patients, don't shop by appearance. Shop by the ingredient list. Your gut doesn't care what the package says. It cares what's inside. And for older adults, that matters more than ever. As the gut ages, digestion slows. The wrong bread causes not just bloating, but mood swings, memory lapses, even poor sleep. Dr. Thomas, so here's your quick test at the grocery store. If the first ingredient isn't 100% whole grain, or if the list has more than 6 items you can't pronounce, put it back on the shelf. Your body deserves real food, not a marketing gimmick. And to our viewers, I'm curious, have you ever been surprised by what's actually in your bread after reading the label? If yes, share your story in the comments. It might help someone else today, because the more we know, the better we choose. And the better we age. Topics 3. Gluten-free bread, health trend or hidden trap. Let's move on to a trend that's taken over grocery aisles in recent years. Gluten-free bread. It's become a health badge for many people. They see gluten-free on the label and instantly assume it's cleaner, safer, especially for digestion. But is it really better after 60? Or are we just swapping one problem for another? Dr. Hinohara, that's a very important question. Gluten-free does not automatically mean healthy, especially for older adults. In fact, many commercial gluten-free breads are even worse than the ones they replace. Why? Because they rely on highly refined starches like tapioca starch, potato starch, cornstarch, and white rice flour. These ingredients break down rapidly in the body. They spike your blood sugar even faster than regular white bread. And worst of all, they offer almost no fiber, no protein, and very little nutritional value. Dr. Thomas, it's shocking, isn't it? I had a patient named Irene, 75 years old. She switched to gluten-free bread thinking it would ease her bloating and improve her energy. But after a few weeks, she felt even more tired. Her belly was tighter. Her blood pressure ticked up. When we reviewed the ingredients together, her gluten-free bread was full of modified starches, xanthan gum, and emulsifiers. Dr. Hinohara, that's what I call the clean label illusion. The front of the package says gluten-free, but inside it's a chemistry project. And for older adults, these chemical additives can irritate the gut lining, disturb the microbiome, and worsen inflammation. In fact, a 2021 study published in Nutrients, a peer-reviewed medical journal, found that seniors who consumed highly processed gluten-free products regularly had higher markers of insulin resistance and systemic inflammation than those who ate traditional whole grains. Dr. Thomas, that's the real danger. You remove gluten, but replace it with a cocktail of blood sugar bombs and gut irritants. For people with celiac disease or medically diagnosed gluten sensitivity, yes, gluten-free is necessary. But for everyone else, blindly choosing gluten-free bread may be a health step in the wrong direction. Dr. Hinohara. And the saddest part, people are trying to do the right thing. They're putting in the effort, but the food industry is leading them astray. That's why we must read ingredients, not just headlines. Dr. Thomas. So here's what to look for. If your gluten-free bread lists starches first. If it has more than 5 or 6 ingredients you don't recognize. If it contains gums, emulsifiers, or sweeteners, walk away. Now, there are good gluten-free options. Breads made with whole grain brown rice. Buckwheat or millet, especially when sprouted or fermented, can be very healing, but they're rare and often found in the freezer section or homemade. Dr. Hinohara. Yes, the freezer is your friend. Real food spoils. Fake food survives forever. Dr. Thomas. Let's ask our viewers, have you tried gluten-free bread? Did it help you or hurt you? Type better or worse in the comments. And if you're not sure, go check your label after this video. Because after 60, every bite either helps you heal or pushes you closer to trouble. Topics 4. Sweetbreads, comfort food, or morning disaster. Now let's talk about something that hits a little closer to the heart. Banana bread, raisin toast, cinnamon swirl. Just saying the names brings back warm memories. They remind us of home, of holidays, of people we love. But after 60, could these sweetbreads be quietly hurting the body we're trying to protect, Dr. Hinohara? They could and often do. Sweetbreads are a perfect example of a feel-good food that leaves your body in chaos. Why? Because they combine 3 of the worst ingredients for aging health refined flour, added sugars, and industrial seed oils. This trio creates a blood sugar spike, triggers inflammation, and promotes fat storage all before you've even left the breakfast table. Dr. Thomas, that makes sense. I remember one patient, Mr. Henry, 74 years old. He told me, "Doc, I only have 1 small slice of cinnamon bread in the morning. That's all." But he always felt tired by 10. His vision would blur by noon, and his sleep, restless, interrupted. We removed that 1 sweet slice and replaced it with a boiled egg and half an avocado. 2 weeks later, he said, "I feel like someone turned the lights back on." Dr. Hinohara, that's the power of a balanced breakfast. A 2020 study published by Harvard's T. H. Chan School of Public Health found that older adults who started their day with refined carbohydrates had a 32% higher risk of developing metabolic syndrome over the next 5 years. And sweetbreads are among the worst offenders. They not only spike insulin, they cause a crash later. So your body spends the rest of the day trying to stabilize. The result: fatigue, irritability, cravings, and over time, weight gain, joint pain, and sleep problems. Dr. Thomas. That's something most people never connect with. They think of sweet bread as a treat. But what if that treat is robbing your energy, your memory, even your sleep? After 60, your first meal is a message to your metabolism. If that message is sugar and starch, your day starts in a blood sugar storm. Dr. Hinohara. And that affects more than just energy. Sugar in the morning can raise cortisol, the stress hormone. It can suppress immunity. It can interfere with gut repair. I often tell my patients, comfort should not come with a cost. Dr. Thomas. And here's the thing. You don't have to give up pleasure. You just have to reframe it. Instead of sweet bread, try a warm slice of sourdough with nut butter and a sprinkle of cinnamon. It satisfies without the crash. Or enjoy a savory rice cake with miso gentle, calming, deeply nourishing. Dr. Hinohara, pleasure can still be part of your plate, but after 60, it should support you, not sabotage you. Dr. Thomas. So, let's hear from our audience. What sweet bread did you grow up loving? And have you ever noticed how it makes you feel now? Drop your story in the comments and let's learn from each other. Because healing isn't just about restriction. It's about choosing foods that love you back. Topics: 5 sprouted grain bread. The bread that heals as you age. We've talked about the breads that quietly break down your body after 60. But now, let's shift the conversation. Let's talk about bread that can build you up, slice by slice. And I'd like to begin with a bread that I personally recommend to many of my patients, sprouted grain bread. Dr. Hinohara, what makes this kind of bread different, especially for older adults, Dr. Hinohara? Sprouted bread is not just different. It's one of the few breads that actually works with your body, not against it. When a grain is allowed to sprout, meaning it begins to grow as it would in nature, its nutrients become more active. The enzymes wake up. The anti-nutrients like phytic acid break down, and important minerals like zinc, magnesium, and iron become easier to absorb. That's especially important for older adults because as we age, our gut becomes less efficient at pulling nutrients from food. Dr. Thomas, that's something I see often. I had a patient, Mrs. Wallace, 70 years old. She was eating whole wheat bread every morning, thinking it was healthy, but her iron levels were dropping. Her energy was low, and she felt heavy after meals. When we switched her to sprouted Ezekiel bread, something remarkable happened. Within 2 weeks, her digestion felt lighter, her blood iron improved, and she no longer needed a nap after breakfast. Dr. Hinohara, because sprouted grains are alive, they're not just processed flour, they bring life back into the food, and that life translates into better vitality for your body. A 2019 study published in Food Research International found that sprouted grains have significantly higher antioxidant activity, more bioavailable nutrients, and better glycemic control compared to unsprouted grains. That means less inflammation, smoother blood sugar, and more energy throughout the day. Dr. Thomas. And here's another plus: most sprouted breads have 0 added sugar. That's rare in today's bread aisle. It also means no crazy insulin spikes, just steady fuel. Dr. Hinohara, I often remind people food should give, not take. Sprouted bread gives your gut fiber, it gives your brain clarity, it gives your joints calmness, and in return, you get to move through your day, not fight through it. Dr. Thomas. So if you're looking for a bread that respects your age and honors your effort to stay well, try sprouted grain bread. Look for brands like Ezekiel or Alvarado. They're often in the freezer section because they're made without preservatives, which, frankly, is a good thing. If your bread never goes bad, what's it doing in your stomach? Dr. Hinohara, real food spoils, and real food heals. Dr. Thomas. So let me ask our viewers, have you ever tried sprouted bread? If yes, how did it make you feel? And if not, are you willing to give it a shot? Comment yes or curious below. Let's build a stronger breakfast together. Topics 6. Sourdough, the ancient bread that respects your body. When patients ask me, is there a bread that's truly safe? After 60, I often smile and say one word, sourdough. But I don't mean the soft, packaged kind at chain stores. I mean real, traditionally fermented sourdough made with a live starter. Flour, water, thyme, and nothing else. Dr. Hinohara, I know you've spoken beautifully about this kind of bread. Why do you hold sourdough in such high regard, Dr. Hinohara? Because sourdough honors two things, most important to the aging body: digestion and balance. Unlike commercial bread that's rushed through machines in hours, real sourdough is fermented slowly, sometimes for 24 to 48 hours. During that time, natural bacteria and wild yeast begin to break down gluten and phytic acid, the two components that often irritate older guys. What's left is a bread that is gentler on digestion, slower to raise blood sugar, and better for absorbing minerals like magnesium, zinc, and iron. Dr. Thomas, that's what surprised me the first time I switched an elderly patient to sourdough. She was struggling with bloating and poor sleep. Once she replaced her store-bought wheat bread with true sourdough, she told me I no longer feel like I'm fighting my stomach after every meal. Dr. Hinohara, that is not rare. A 2022 study in Frontiers in Nutrition showed that seniors who are traditionally fermented sourdough had lower post-meal glucose levels and less inflammation compared to those who ate non-fermented bread. And there's more. Sourdough contains lactic acid bacteria, which support the microbiome, the colony of good bacteria that impacts everything from mood to immunity. In older adults, that microbial diversity often decreases. Sourdough helps restore it naturally and deliciously. Dr. Thomas, and let's not forget the taste. Sourdough is deeply satisfying. The crust, the tang, the chew, it slows you down. You eat more mindfully. You chew more. You need less. That alone is a gift to digestion and weight management. Dr. Hinohara, yes, when food satisfies deeply, we stop chasing more. It's not just about calories, it's about connection. True sourdough invites you back into that connection to food, to tradition, to your own rhythm. Dr. Thomas, so here's a tip for our viewers. If your sourdough comes in a plastic bag with a long shelf life, it's not real sourdough. Look for bakery fresh or refrigerated loaves made with flour, water, salt, and starter. That's all it takes to create a bread that respects your age and supports your health. Dr. Hinohara bread, when made with patience, can still be a medicine. Dr. Thomas, to our audience, have you ever tried true sourdough? Was it different from what you expected? Comment real sourdough if you've had it, or curious if you're ready to taste the bread that's fed generations and still heals today. Topic 7, rye bread, the European secret to steady energy. After 60, we've covered sprouted bread and sourdough, both deeply nourishing choices. Now, Let's explore another bread that's not as common in the American kitchen, but deserves a seat at the table after 60. I'm talking about rye bread, the dark, dense, hearty kind that's been a staple in many European diets for centuries. Dr. Hinohara. What makes true rye so valuable for older adults? Dr. Hinohara rye is a humble grain, but one with powerful gifts. Especially the dense whole grain rye, not the soft, sweet deli versions we often see in sandwich chains. What makes rye special is a unique type of fiber called arabinoxalan. This fiber slows down digestion, which means your blood sugar rises more gently. It also feeds the good bacteria in your gut, which is crucial, because microbiome diversity often declines with age. Dr. Thomas, rye is a smart carb, not a fast carb. I had a patient, Mr. Douglas, 69, retired bus driver. He complained about energy crashes and afternoon sugar cravings. He was eating whole wheat bread. That turned out to be half sugar, half filler. We switched him to a dark rye loaf. In 10 days, he called me and said I can work in the garden again without falling asleep on the bench. Dr. Hinohara. That story doesn't surprise me. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Internal Medicine in Scandinavia found that older adults who ate whole rye regularly had better insulin sensitivity and lower inflammation markers than those who ate wheat-based breads. It's not just slower carbs. It's smarter carbs with more fiber, more nutrients, and less glycemic stress. Dr. Thomas. But not all rye is created equal. There's a trick. The soft, fluffy rye you find in some grocery stores. Often it's white bread, dyed brown, with a bit of caraway seed added for aroma. True rye should be dense, heavy in the hand, seeded. And when you read the label, the first ingredient should be whole rye flour. Dr. Hinohara. In Japan, rye was not always common. But now, many clinics recommend it to older patients with blood sugar issues or mild digestive troubles. It stabilizes energy, it reduces cravings, and most importantly, it doesn't confuse the body. Dr. Thomas. That's a powerful phrase, doesn't confuse the body. Because after 60, the last thing we want is more metabolic confusion. So if you're looking for a bread that keeps you clear-headed, comfortable, and steady, try real rye. And if you've never had it before, start small. 1 slice in the morning, paired with protein or healthy fat. Let your body feel the difference. Dr. Hinohara, and always listen. The body tells us the truth if we pause to hear it. Dr. Thomas, let me ask you, dear viewers, have you ever tried true rye bread? Did it make a difference in your day? Type rye helped if you felt its benefits, or still unsure if you want to learn more? This community is here to share, support, and grow, one wiser choice at a time. Topics. 8. Rice bread, the gentle strength of Japanese simplicity. We've discussed some of the best breads you can eat after 60. But there's one more that I think deserves a spotlight, especially because of its roots in traditional Japanese wisdom. I'm talking about rice bread, not the kind made with rice starch and sugar, but real rice bread made from whole grain, brown rice, or black rice. Dr. Hinohara, I know rice is deeply woven into Japanese life. Why do you recommend rice bread for older adults? Dr. Hinohara. Because rice, especially whole rice, is a food that calms the body, not excites it. And that's what most older bodies need. Rice bread made from brown or black rice provides resistant starch, a special kind of carbohydrate that doesn't spike your blood sugar quickly. Instead, it feeds beneficial bacteria in your gut, supports steady energy, and reduces inflammation. Unlike many Western-style breads, it has no gluten, no chemical additives, and almost never contains seed oils. It is, in a word, gentle. Dr. Thomas. That's a word we don't use enough when we talk about food gentle. I had a patient, Miss Clara, 78 years old. She struggled with digestive issues, food sensitivities, and fatigue. We removed all processed breads and introduced a homemade brown rice loaf, just rice, salt, and a little koji fermentation. She came back 2 weeks later and said, "I finally feel like food isn't fighting me." Dr. Hinohara, that is the beauty of Japanese-style eating. We believe food should not excite the body too much. It should ground you, steady you, prepare you for life, not throw you off balance. Rice bread pairs beautifully with traditional meals, miso soup, tofu, a soft boiled egg, or even a bit of grilled fish. The goal is not to be full. The goal is to be balanced. Dr. Thomas. And from a Western medical perspective, the science agrees. A 2023 review published in Nutrients found that older adults who consumed resistant starch from whole grains like brown rice had improved insulin sensitivity, better gut microbiome diversity, and lower markers of inflammation. All from something so simple, so quiet, it's easy to overlook. Dr. Hinohara. But simplicity is powerful when done with care. Rice bread may not be flashy. It won't be the trendiest loaf in the store, but after 60, we should seek foods we can trust, not just foods that are popular. Dr. Thomas. So if you're sensitive to wheat, or just looking for a gentler path, try rice bread. Look for versions made from whole brown rice or black rice, ideally fermented or paired with natural ingredients. And don't be afraid to make it at home. You don't need a big machine, just steamed rice, a loaf pan, and patience. Dr. Hinohara. The older I get, the more I believe food should not excite the system. It should support the soul. Dr. Thomas. And to all of you watching, have you ever tried real rice bread? How did it make you feel? Comment gentle if it gives you comfort, or curious if it's something new you'd like to explore, because the most powerful healing sometimes begins with something as simple as a slice. Emotional close and call to action. So, what have we learned today? That not all bread is the enemy, but not all bread is a friend either. After 60, every slice, every bite becomes more meaningful. It either gives your body strength or it quietly takes energy away. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up bread. You just have to choose it with wisdom. Listen to your body. Read the labels. And feed yourself like someone you love. Dr. Hinohara. I'll never forget what you told me once. Healing begins not when we restrict, but when we begin to respect each other. So to our community here at Happy Seniors Life, which bread do you want to choose tomorrow morning? Comment below. And if this conversation helped you, please share it with someone you care about. Let's grow stronger together, one gentle choice at a time.